This HomeworkBurst video focuses on the Macbeth homework booklet. Your list of tasks is here. Pause here if you need to check things you're doing, but today we're going to focus on task 15. Task 15 looks at an extract from All Quiet on the Western Front. And you've got two jobs. Read the extract and then do the following task. How does the writer use language to describe the experience of battle? Before we start, I want you to connect. All Quiet on the Western Front is a novel set in the World War. So, what I want you to do is to think about your knowledge that you've already got, apply some common sense to the question, how do you expect the writer to be describing the experience of battle? You've read lots of war literature, lots of war poetry in particular, you know the kinds of things that writers do. So what you should be doing here is activating your prior knowledge. Once you've had a little think, we're going to dive straight in with the reading, then we'll explode some quotations, and then I'll leave you to write your answer. All Quiet on the Western Front, Erich Maria Remarque. This novel is particularly famous for being written from the German point of view, which was quite, in its way, revolutionary for audiences in Britain because obviously they're the other side of the war from our perspective. And so there's a little bit of a kind of jolt in it that as you read it, you realise that perhaps you're getting a sense that the war was like this for all soldiers, not just for the British. And I quite like that about it. It opens your eyes to something different. But let's read. The moment it breaks out behind us, swells, roars and thunders. We duck down. A cloud of flame shoots up 100 yards ahead of us. The next minute, under a second explosion, part of the wood rises slowly in the air. 2 or 3 trees sail up and then crash to pieces. The shells begin to hiss like safety valves. Heavy fire! Take cover, yells somebody. Cover! The fields are flat. The wood is too distant and dangerous. The only cover is the graveyard and the mounds. We stumble across in the dark, and as though he had been spat there, every man lies glued behind a mound. Not a moment too soon. The dark goes mad. It heaves and raves. Darkness is blacker than the night. Rush on us with giant strides, over us and away. The flames of the explosions light up the graveyard. There is no escape anywhere. By the light of the shells I try to get a view of the fields. They are a surging sea. Daggers of flame from the explosions leap up like fountains. It is impossible for anyone to break through it. The wood vanishes. It is pounded, crushed, torn to pieces. We must stay here in the graveyard. The earth bursts before us. It rains clods. I feel a smack. My sleeve is torn away by a splinter. I shut my fist. No pain. Still, that does not reassure me. Wounds don't hurt till afterwards. I feel the arm all over. It's grazed, but sound. Now, a crack on the skull. I begin to lose consciousness. Like lightning, the thought comes to me. Don't faint. I sink down in the black broth and immediately come up to the top again. A splinter splashes into my helmet, but has already travelled so far that it does not go through. I wipe the mud out of my eyes. A hole is torn up in front of me. Shells hardly ever land in the same hole twice. I'll get into it. With one lunge I shoot as flat as a fish over the ground. There it whistles again. Quickly I crouch together, claw for cover, feel something on the left, shove in beside it, it gives way. I groan, the earth leaps, the blast thunders in my ears. I creep under the yielding thing, cover myself with it, draw it over me. It is wood, cloth, cover, cover, miserable cover against the whizzing splinters. I open my eyes. My fingers grasp a sleeve, an arm. A wounded man. I yell to him. No answer. A dead man? My hand grabs farther. Splinters of wood. Now I remember again that we are lying in the graveyard. But the shelling is stronger than everything. It wipes out the sensibilities. I merely crawl still further under the coffin. It shall protect me, though death himself lies in it. Before me gapes the shell hole. I grasp it with my eyes as with fists. With one leap I must be in it. There, I get a smack in the face. A hand clamps onto my shoulder. Has the dead man waked up? The hand shakes me. I turn my head. In the second of light I stare at the face of Kaczynski. He has his mouth wide open and is yelling. I hear nothing. He rattles me, comes nearer. In a momentary lull his voice reaches me. Gas! 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 Pass it on! I grab for my gas mask. Some distance from me there lies someone. I think of nothing but this. That fellow there must know. Gas! Gas! I call. I lean towards him. I swipe at him with the satchel. He doesn't see. Once, again, again. He merely ducks. It's a recruit. I look at Cat desperately. He has his mask on. I pull out mine too. My helmet falls to one side. It slips over my face. I reach the man. His satchel is on the side nearest me. I seize the mask, pull it over my head. He understands. I let go and with a jump drop into the shell hole. The dull thud of the gas shells mingles with the crash of high explosives. A bell sounds between the explosions, gongs and metal clappers warning everyone. Gas! 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 Okay, so overall tone. It's about chaos, it's about fear, it's about danger. So, those are your central ideas. What you should do here is we'll talk through exploding the quotation together. I'll pause so that you can have a little think about it and work out at your own pace, and then from there, what I'd like you to do next is to unpause and I'll give you some key ideas. We're going to do that 3 times across 3 quotations, then we'll leave you to write it up. So here we go. Quotation 1. The dark goes mad. It heaves and raves. Darkness is blacker than the night. Rush on us with giant strides, over us and away. Here, you need to look at the personification of the dark itself, the metaphor of it moving, the verbs particularly, creating that sense of chaos, the prepositions where it steps over us and away and what's going on there, and the rhythm of the whole thing, which I think is quite important. Pause here, have a little think about your ideas, then unpause and I'll talk it through with you. Okay, you've had plenty of time to think, so here we go. The sense of the world being against them, the dark going mad. That personification of the dark suggests that the world is insane, that the things that they are experiencing are crazy, that even the world is against them. Then you've got the 2 verbs heaves and raves, suggesting everything's out of his control, everything's up in the air, everything's mad. Then you've got the metaphor of darkness rushing at them with giant strides, creates a sense of chaos and threat, this sense of the world attacking them. And then the prepositions at the end, over us and away, everything seems bigger than the soldiers. For something to step over them, they've got to be quite little. It becomes that sense of the world is big, the world is dangerous. And the last thing, there's a very fast rhythm to this quotation. That is all about fear and showing the fear of the writer. Our second quotation. It gets very personal now. He gets wounded. Okay? I feel a smack. My sleeve is torn away by a splinter. I shot my fist. No pain. Still, that does not reassure me. Wounds don't hurt till afterwards. Here you want to look at the verbs, the preposition, and the idea of the rhythm again. As usual, pause here, put your thoughts together, then unpause, and we'll have a look at some answers. Okay, plenty of time there. First, you want to look at the concept of the smack, this business of something hitting him hard. And he doesn't seem to react, it's quite matter of fact, he's quite used to it. Then, torn away. You've got that verb suggesting violence, stuff outside his control is happening to him, he is damaged by it. Then, towards the end, you've got the sense of him not knowing what's coming, this idea of afterwards, suggesting that stuff's happening to him, but he can't process it, he can't take it in, and that blunt, quick, sharp rhythm again shows the chaos of battle. Third and final quotes. I've given you a double pair here. One is simpler than the other, but let's have a look at them together and we'll see where we get to. But the shelling is stronger than everything. It wipes out the sensibilities. In plain English, there's so much bombing around that he can't think straight. Second one. I merely crawl still farther under the coffin. It shall protect me, though death himself lies in it. And here you have the sense in both of something bigger than them, making them suffer. Simple job here. I want you to look at the connective at the start of the first one, the adjectives, the metaphor in both of them, and also verbs like wipes out and crawl. Pause here, gather your thoughts. This one's quite complicated, so take a good moment to have a good think about it, then unpause me and I'll talk you through what we've got. Okay, so first one, the idea of the shelling being stronger than everything. That adjective there, stronger, suggesting power and the power of the war against these tiny little soldiers. Then I'd look at the verb wipes out and that metaphor of it almost making them not a person, taking away everything that makes them who they are. Second quotation, look at the verb crawl and how, almost like a baby, it makes him seem, someone without power. Then you've got the metaphor of him hiding behind a coffin, because even death is better than what he's going through, and that's quite important. Okay, you're ready to write. Standard set of sentence stems, this is what I suggest you do. Make a note of these, take a photo of them, however you want to work, and then whiz back through the video so that you can do each quotation in order. That's how I'd use this to get maximum impact from it. Best of luck. Remember, if you need us, email us. We're always here to help. Good luck, folks. Send your completed work to your English teacher for marking.